press the record button. This is now being recorded. So yeah, we can pass to Chuck at a later
Awesome.
date.
No, thank you. So, couple things. This is especially for Ed, right? This is like I'm trying to pull something over or try to talk to my wife about something, and she's like, I know you for too long, and don't sugarcoat it. So same thing with, with knowing you guys for so long. You guys been such a great partner, and I want to go straight into this. So one of our key initiatives for 2025 is to focus on commercial. And we've been looking at how we can deliver not just from a component perspective, but how do we add incremental values. So on the commercial side, there are a couple of things that we feel we could leverage to help us compete and help us win and differentiate. So I'm going to just go directly into the use cases on what our customers are currently facing and how we're addressing it. Okay, so let me go directly. And by the way, stop me anytime if you have any questions. So as part of our commercial, we want to figure out how to differentiate, how to bring values directly to our customer that they recognize. In this particular case, we're leveraging vPro, and every time when I say the word vPro, everybody just shake their head and just like too complicated, blah, 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 blah. But instead of talking about vPro, I would like to put specific use cases that we can articulate where do we differentiate and why does it add a lot of value for our customer. In the first scenario, imagine if a system is encounter blue screen. It also is being, it's connected through wireless network, not wire, but wireless, and also out of band. What do we typically do? Chris, giving you a technical guy, if a customer says, "Hey, I have a digital signage or a PC," what is this? Do you typically have to ask the customer to bring it back, send it back, or do something like get a truck roll? What's your BKM, or how do you solve things like this?
Depends on the product, I would assume, since I know our BMCs and our extreme edge products would help with that kind of activity.
Right. Is it always
Without-
dependent for your
But
BMC product?
specific to NUC product though.
NUC products, yeah. I believe we've utilized vPro, and I don't know if we've done that type of effort with them in our support team or whatever, but other customers may be using them in that way.
It's all good. So here's the thing, right? And especially when you have customer time critical activities, what do we do? In this particular case, instead of asking our customer to set up a EMA server or a console, it's extremely complicated, and also doing all sorts of stuff. I'm going to share with you something we've been working on very closely with Intel and also with the software ecosystem to deliver a simple out-of-box experience. So in this case, this company is one of the software vendor I'm working with is NetTop.
Where are they based?
So, I'm sorry?
Where are they based?
They're based in US, but their parent company is actually based in Europe. They got acquired by Activision and stuff like that. So it's a multinational companies.
Okay, but they
And we
sound
have-
familiar, and I was familiar. The company I was thinking were based in Germany, but maybe it's a separate entity. Okay.
There's another company called Bytes at Work also, so we could utilize them to do something similar. But in this particular case, I'm just illustrating, this company able to utilize their over-the-cloud console and not having to build the EMA server and what have you. And they're able to go in and remotely, even with a blue screen, they're able to access the contents, access the PC, manipulate the information, and also be even going to the BIOS, making sure the BIOS settings are correct. So essentially, it sits below the OS layer and simplify the engagement. So now, and if I just want to, speed it up, I'll send you the foils and also the link. Within a matter of minutes, you can now recover a PC or based on manipulation, almost like remote KVM, even under the toughest condition, which is connected Wi-Fi, out of band, and blue screen. So now you deliver this great customer experience that you currently, if you want to do that today, it's extremely, extremely tough, right? So this is the first use case that's available today.
Just one FYI, one of the solutions that we have is Sprinxel. They have, that capability for working with vPro to manage your endpoints regardless of the OS or power state. So
that's awesome.
That's one of
What
them
is it?
that's out there.
So is that a OTA model or is that based on a full vPro framework AMT model?
I believe it's the Intel AMT model, but
Right. But Chris, I was just trying to figure out because there's a AMT model which is based on you have to build up the full EMMA console, extremely complicated. You have to get a VM licensing, you have to get a Windows licensing, and build out the whole thing out. The things that we're proposing is actually a OTA, so you don't have to build anything out. In fact, I'm going to just show you one of the examples. So this is another vendor. It's called Laplink. Notice that the UI is super simplified, and I can actually go in there to look at all the analytics and all the metadata of the whole framework. So again, the Open AMT is a derivative of the AMT framework, but much more simplified. So especially for our channel partners, are not required to go through that painstaking efforts to put things together. So I think maybe we can compare notes if they are part of the vendor that can do that already. Fantastic, I love it. But I just want to share with you how simple it is. And in fact, I can go in there to look at all the hardware, and this thing supports both vPro and non-vPro. So if you have a vPro like this one does, I can actually go in there and I can activate it directly and do all sorts of manipulation. So those are some of the things I want to share with you guys on what we're doing to make this simple. Now, in addition to this use case, here's something else that we're super excited about, and it's been very difficult, and we made it happen. So this use case is the new feature. It's called OCR. It stands for one-click recovery. So imagine if you encounter something like a CrowdStrike-like type of capabilities. So enable for you to remotely to manage or to recover to this original image is painstaking and is extremely complicated. So this is one of the very few features that in fact, the set of features that only ASUS NUC supports and none of the MNC supports. And in fact, here's the interesting part. We actually, even with all the downsizing, we were able to convince the Intel and the OpenAMT team to implement this. So with the NUC that you have today, start with a 13th gen, 14th vPro, and the 15th vPro, we're all able to support this. So the feature I just showed you is not just simplifying this, but delivering that great experience for the blue screen recovery, and that's what standard AMT supports. We just help simplify that. But moving forward with the same system, and the committed number of software vendor committing to this, now you're able to push with a simple click a button. You're able to recover this Go image directly through either the cloud or SimplyNUC could potentially have an opportunity to introduce a local drive locally that allows you to mirror the image almost like Pixie, right? So essentially able to replicate your Go image on the drive to the main disk. So you have an instantaneous recovery versus try to recover something over the web, right? So
Do you mean a
imagine.
partition, or do you mean a separate drive?
So it's a separate drive, and here's the reason why. Because now you're able to sell a separate drive that you can as part of the accessory within the NUC. So now you actually partition specifically as a part of recovery drive allowing our customer to recover the full image back to its original state. So this actually is an upgrade option that exclusively offered by SimplyNUC. So this is a very interesting opportunity because today, the way Intel implements this this OCR is actually over the air. So imagine you have to download 6 gig of OS and Go images, and a lot of time TCP/IP, Chris, as you know, it will drop packets. So if we can push a simple click a button, all of your drives can go back to its original image. It doesn't matter CrowdStrike or whatever. Push a button, that local drive can copy over, and now most of your customer, based on my discussion with a lot of people, they will actually buy, they will more than willing to happy to pay for that extra insurance, allowing to copy over directly to simplify that experience. And also, you could be one of the very first delivering this. Why do I say this? Because as our product lineup, we are the only one. In fact, we are the only MNC in the world that supports all of these features: one-click recovery, platform service record, and platform remote erase, right? Local and remote erase. So the first feature that Intel have implemented for OpenAMT to make it simplify OTA model is one-click recovery. And what I'm just offering you is that this is coming in March, committed feature that will be delivered by end of February. And we have at least 4 software vendor, NetTop, Bytes at Work, LabLink, committed in implementing this. And one last thing, that why this is unique and why it's different. Well, if you look at this model, the left is what we support, and the right is what Dell HP supports. And this is crazy because the business model for Dell, HP, Lenovo are very specifically to build their own services. So you get locked down to, you have to purchase, Apex services for Dell. You have to purchase Wolf Security from HP or Think Shell from Lenovo. Our business model is very much catered for our channel partners. So now you're able to deliver one of the most competitive feature set for both the IT and OT under the same umbrella, and also is very much catered to your business model and the MSP business model that allow you to build and can compete without having to get locked down by what MNC try to drive. Okay, so this is key selling point number 1. Key selling point number 2. The way that Dell, HP, Lenovo, by the way, they sell about 92% of the vPro across the world. This is actually one of the opportunity that we don't have to talk about what vPro does, but what we are doing to help our commercial user. In fact, using this framework, you're able to support your IT framework and the OT framework under the same management console. With Dell, HP, Lenovo, you have to have 2 separate segment of manageability. One of them manage the IT aspect, and another segment of management console for OT. So the reason why I feel very strongly that this is a growth opportunity for both of us is because this is the first time that we're able to deliver some unique feature set, not just delivering a feature set that are built into our PC, our NUC, but also now we have the ecosystem supporting those set of features also at the same time. So each actually can go to market with this feature. Okay, so I'm gonna pause here. A lot of information here. In fact, this is something probably none of the competitors, both on the channel side and also on the MNC side, able to deliver this set of feature now and moving forward, at least within near-term future. So love to hear your feedback, Ed and Chris. Do you feel this is something that might be interesting that we can leverage to grow our commercial business?
So I'd probably have to have Chuck take a look at this with, understanding the differences between this and what we do currently with Sprinxel. I know that I don't think Sprinxel has, the drive in the system, like you're suggesting. But
Yep.
I've dealt with, Dell's, situation where you're, having downtime, you want to re-image your system or whatever, and they had a partition, on your existing drive with the details there to be able to not have to go over the air, but could just pull your image and stick it back on.
But do you have to have the drive physically in front of you, or are you able to remotely go into that drive if with a corrupted OS?
They do have ability at Dell at least to go into it that way. The Sprinxel is remote and can go in and update, but it may be over the air. That's the part I don't know about. I need to.
I just put in a link. So there's a company called, do you know AOpen, part of ASUS?
Yes. Yes.
So it is different, but it does have. It just was making you reminding me of some of their features when you were talking. So they have an out of bounds management daughter board, if you like, that will connect. I don't know the cost of it. I don't know if it's more than an SSD.
Yep.
And then from that, you then have out of bound management control, not over the air. I think it's via a LAN port.
Yep.
And
Because
you're
you can
able
use Wi-Fi. I mean, you
Yeah.
have to use the wake on LAN, right? So that's the challenge is that we're doing all of this even with Wi-Fi.
That's it.
That's
I think
interesting.
that's it. Yeah. So this has that, hey, there's a separate, you got an image on a partition and you can click and then it will just take that image and re-flash it, if you like. So you
Yep,
get back
exactly.
to that baseline. But yeah, I don't know what the cost is and I don't know. And they have their own, they have their own management capability, which they service that they offer, right? But has some similarities. I
Yep.
don't know if you're familiar with that already. So yeah. So,
I'll look at
sorry?
it. Thank you.
Yeah, I only discovered it recently. I was quite surprised to see they had this capability, and they've had it for a while. They're obviously not doing very well with it because we haven't heard about it. But
It's
interesting.
all good because I think
So-
that's one of the things that I want to be able to bring into you guys. The innovation we're driving. I want to be able to monetize it for both of our parties, right? Because this is something we invest a lot of efforts, a lot of time, because we do believe in that use cases and the challenge our customers, such as yourself, are facing today. I want to simplify that. I want to remove the complexity. In fact, this is actually one of the things that I keep on looking at why vPro has not been successful because they're just focusing on the enterprise. They don't really think about the channel partners, the SIs, and what they really recognize and what they value, right? So we want to remove the complexity of the setting it up. I want to remove the complexity of learning those. I want to look at UI, couple clicks. I want to be done with it. And
So-
also, go ahead. Yes, sir.
I'm a customer. We sold the concept. Customer wants it. They're willing to pay the extra for the drive. We would then work with one of these third-party ISVs, sort of.
Yep.
And then we would work with them to get the customer's image set up, or how does that relationship work? And do you see it working anyway?
So great question. In fact, I was actually thinking about what are the call to action, right? So couple things. Number one, I want to be very focused on some opportunity that we can capitalize. We have some inventory of NUC 13 Pro vPro, and we are willing to, well, I already know this, right? I don't even need to spend this. We want to clear those inventory,
Uh-huh.
right? And so there might be some pricing opportunity that you can take advantage of that can
On Arena
undercut
vPro. Okay.
exactly on the V5, V7, on the 13 gen. Okay, number one. Number two, I'd be more than happy to introduce the ISV, allow you guys to talk about how do we activate this. Because here are two different business model. One business
Yeah.
model is that you let the ISV to manage this and what have you. Bam. But the second business model, I've been actually working with them, knowing that I want everybody to want to make money. They are actually willing to offer white label. So now SimplyNUC could
Uh-huh.
be potentially the system management offer as part of your services under your brand and be able to help your channel customers to manage your system, number one, or you can resell it under your brand also. So those are some of the very interesting business model that differentiates. Go ahead.
In that case, then, so it's been white labeled and we're managed. So the customer system breaks down. Do they have a login where they go in and do the one click, or would they contact SimplyNUC to go in and do the one click?
It's up to you. It's up to
Up
you
to
on
us.
how you want to manage it, right? Because you can offer this so the customer can go in directly do the recovery, or you can do that and charge monthly fee.
And there's a customer concern, right, with this type of capability that either SimplyNUC or the ISV would be able to see what was on that SSD. Is that, do we have a quick answer to that?
You know, actually, it's very simple because typically you don't copy every time, like just like backup. You don't copy verbatim byte to byte or bit by bit. You actually, it's a compressed imaging. It's almost like compressed, right? What compressed means is actually been encrypted by for efficiency perspective on how the data are being stored. So it's not you can open up the second drive. So, oh, what does that look like? No, you can't even see it because it's under a proprietary
But could
compression
we see what was on
algorithm.
the main drive? Like, is that all protected? Like,
Yes.
if someone wanted to get malicious,
Yep. So on your main drive is how you want to protect your data, right? So that's a different, something very different on the component that we're providing, right? If somebody go into your PC, can they open it up? Well, they have to go through the OS. They have to make sure they have your login, able to go into the files because those are very owner-specific,
Yeah.
user-specific data that are being protected. So
Okay.
those are the different opportunities. But just given that we have, a couple minutes left, I want to make sure, by the way, great questions. So number one, I strongly, given you already know about the NUC 13, 14, 15, I strongly encourage you to look at this as, are we able to take advantage of this to grow and to differentiate? I believe so, because the feature set is not just today, but also moving forward, start as early as March of this year, you will have some unique features that no MNCs, no customers able to support. Number one.
So if we were going
Number
to,
two,
sorry,
go
carry
ahead.
on. Sorry. No, please finish.
So we'll be happy to, if you're interested, I'd be happy to do some ISV introductory, just like when we did with Air Server and other folks, right? So you guys can figure it out what the business model look like, and just so you know that they are very open to the white label opportunities, so rev share or whatever, so you can figure out if what's best for you guys to win. And also, maybe we can jointly working with Intel or ASUS to build a case study to highlight how amazing SimplyNUC is, and we're leveraging the ASUS NUC to deliver this amazing capability because this applies for both the IT and the OT business because you guys are strong in both verticals. And also we can figure out potentially how we promote this and other stuff and how we can support you to not just build it, but also how do you able to monetize it. So I'm going to shut up and ask me all the tough questions.
No, I get it. Well, I think I get it. I'm sure the devil will be in the detail. But do you have, so if we, I think a next step for us would be to probably go to our sales team and say, do you have any customers today, top of mind, that would be interested in assessing this and maybe deploying it rather than hunting new, perhaps? That's the quick win. So do you have like, hey, look, keep it simple, silly for the sales team. Like, are there like 3 questions we would ask to tease out? Yep, there's interest, and yep, this is the right type of customer, and we should maybe go and then engage with them to have a conversation about this. So like, hey, this is the problem statement, and you have device like number one, like the devices would be connected wirelessly. Right? A lot of the deployments specifically are not connected wirelessly for security reasons, that sort of thing. So you could tease out a couple of these opportunities.
Let me do this. Let me get a copy of the foil PDF. I'll send it to you. I'll send you the
Okay.
video link so you can actually see it. And I'll
Yeah.
also take the AR to generate the proposed 3 questions. I mean, you're much better sales guys than I am, right? So let's figure out what are the right questions that for our sales team to get them excited, because I do feel from the technology perspective and from a product owner perspective, I do feel this is a once, not very often, that we have a competitive features that we can help our channel partners such as SimplyNUC to win against MNC customers. And also we can say it proudly to walk into any customer's room to monetize this.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds good. Alrighty, thank you.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year. RC, thank you for coordinating. Chris, very nice meeting you in person and virtually. And
Thank you.
I look forward to hearing from you guys.
A pleasure.
Thanks,
Y'all have a good one.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Darcy.
Let's
Alrighty.
win this. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Thanks.
Cheers. Bye bye.